On the road to retirement, one of the most important decisions you can make is who will receive the benefits of your retirement account beyond your lifetime. With Teacher Retirement System of Georgia, your beneficiaries are not decided by documents like wills, divorce, decrees, or marriage certificates. Rather, they're determined only by the beneficiary information on file at TRS when you pass away. Therefore, it's critical that you designate at least one primary beneficiary and one secondary, as well as routinely update your TRS beneficiaries to reflect significant life changes, such as divorce, marriage, births, and deaths. Reminder, beneficiary designation completed with HR does not transfer over to TRS. This includes changes during open enrollment. Also, keep in mind that if you don't have the right person or persons on file, it can lead to costly legal problems and unnecessary frustration. Likewise, if you are the beneficiary on file at the time of a retiree's death, it is imperative that you notify TRS as soon as possible. That's why it's so important that you designate your beneficiaries now. The good news? It's easy to do. Simply log into your TRS account and visit the Designate Beneficiary section to complete the form. And as always, we're here to help you along the way. So here's to good planning and to the road ahead.
Okay, good morning. The time is now 10:30, and we would like to thank you for joining us for our new member TRS presentation this morning. So hopefully you've had a chance to check out our social media. We have these QR codes here. So if you just lift your camera app to those QR codes, you can scan that and you can check out our various social media platforms that we have. Obviously, our website is going to give you the most information about TRS, but we update information daily on Facebook and Twitter, so you can get some information there, helpful tools and resources about your TRS benefit from those platforms. This video will be on our YouTube channel and Facebook later on today. And also we have a podcast that we release on a monthly basis called Your Retirement in Focus. So hopefully you can start to follow and like us on these various channels so that you can keep up with your TRS benefit and any updates to it. So without further ado, we will go ahead and get started. So we call this presentation Retirement Planning 101 or your TRS benefit. And hopefully today you leave with more information about your TRS benefit than you had when you first started. I know if you're a brand new teacher or brand new to TRS, you probably got a lot of paperwork when you first started and just went through open enrollment, and it may be a little overwhelming. So hopefully you'll have a little more information, a better plan for your retirement and your TRS benefit itself. So we're going to talk about your benefit, the breakdown of the formula and creditable service and how that gets you towards your TRS benefit. So what is your TRS benefit? It's formally known as a defined benefit plan or a 401A, but most people refer to it as a pension plan. So that means that you're going to get a benefit that's guaranteed for life and is determined by a formula that we use. And that is a lifetime guarantee to you. And in some cases, your beneficiaries can continue a lifetime income even after you've passed, depending on the plan that you choose. Now, the formula that we use to determine your retirement benefit is based on your years of creditable service, which we multiply by 2%. And we take that percentage and multiply that by your high average salary, which is your highest 2 consecutive years, wherever that falls in your career. From there, we get your basic benefit under the max plan, but we have several other plans for you to choose from as well. This example here just shows what your benefit could be. Under the max plan, for somebody that has 30 years of service, they'll get 60% of their high average salary, which is $5,536.83. And therefore, they would get $3,322.10 for the rest of their lifetime. Here you see that the max amount of years that you can have towards your creditable service is 40 years, which means you can have up to 80% of your income in your retirement that's guaranteed for life. And also when you receive your benefit in your retirement, you are paying federal and state taxes at that time because you're paying into the system pre-tax. So when can you retire? Well, there's 3 different ways. The first and most common type is normal service retirement. And a service retirement just means that you are retiring without a penalty. So you can reach that at 30 years of service at any age, or if you have at least 10 years of service and 60 years of age. There's also a disability retirement. So if you have 10 years of service, regardless of your age, you can retire at that time if you happen to become disabled and cannot perform your current job duties. In that case, there isn't a reduction to your retirement benefit, and there is a permanent and a temporary status of disability. And also there's an early service retirement. So if you have at least 25 years of service, you haven't reached 30 years of service as of yet, or you haven't reached 60 years of age, you can retire at that time, but it is a reduced benefit compared to the service retirement. So if you're thinking about that option, you definitely want to get in touch with us so you can see what that benefit would be compared to waiting until a service retirement. Now, there's three types of service that counts towards your retirement. We have your membership service, your purchase service, and your unused sick leave. Your membership service is what you work for, and most people have their service at 9 months. So our fiscal year runs from July to June. And as long as you have 9 months of creditable service of membership service within that fiscal year, you have your full year's credit. And for some of our university faculty and staff, 8 months makes a full year for them. Now, you do have to be in a permanent position, so substitute teaching or any temporary positions wouldn't count towards that. But as long as you're working at least half time or more in that month, so you work at least half of those days in those months within the fiscal year, then you have your full service credit for that month, and you have your full year for that fiscal year. Now, you can also buy service towards your TRS credit. And some types of service purchases are withdrawn service. So let's say you work for a TRS covered employer, you separated your employment and you came back, you can buy that service. Out of state is very common. So let's say you worked in a public school system in Alabama, for example, then you can, in most cases, purchase that service and transfer that to Georgia. Military service, some of those account if you're not expecting to draw a benefit from the military. And we do have some others as well. So definitely visit our website to check out the different types of service purchases that we have, and think about your work history in the past. If you had any work history prior to coming to TRS, you may be able to transfer some of that service to TRS. And you can use personal funds, or you can roll over funds from a qualified retirement account, such as a 401k, an IRA, or 403b, and there's some others that will count as well. And you can also use your sick leave towards your TRS benefit. So you have to have at least 60 days at the time that you retire. And most systems will accrue at a rate of a day and a quarter per month. Some systems will accrue at a higher rate, and that will be adjusted at the time of your retirement. But your sick leave does count toward your retirement. And in some cases, you can retire earlier, but you can't use it towards your vesting or your age. So sometimes people will say, well, I'm 59 years old. Can I use a year of sick leave to make me 60? So you can't use it to make yourself older. And you can't use it towards vesting, and we'll touch on vesting in just a couple of minutes. So I want to go over an example of sick leave and how that can benefit you towards your retirement. We have a couple of teachers, Tom and Mary, who both worked 26 years and earned 12 and a half days of sick leave each year. Tom always used his sick leave, but Mary rarely used hers. And they both had the same high average salary of $4,500 at the time of retirement. So Tom, he used all his sick leave, so he didn't have any sick leave credit at the time that he retired. He had 26 years, which we'll multiply by 2%. Therefore, he has 52% of that $4,500, and his monthly income is $2,340. Now, Mary accumulated 312 days at the time that she retired, which gave her 16 months or additional service of a year and 7 months. So that puts her at 27 years and 7 months of service. We multiply that by 2%, and that gives her 55.56 rather than the 52%. And we multiply that by her high average salary, and therefore she will get $2,500 per month versus the $2,340 that Tom is getting, even though they work the same amount of service. So it's very important to not use your sick leave if you don't have to. Of course, it's there for you to use if you happen to become sick, but don't try to take too many mental health days, because that could mean that you have an earlier service retirement if you accumulate enough days. Now we're going to transition and talk about vesting and the importance of making sure you have your beneficiaries on file and that's up to date. So we talked about vesting a couple of minutes ago, and vesting just means that you have 10 years of service and you're eligible for a retirement benefit at age 60. So the things that counts towards vesting is your membership service and purchase service, but not the sick leave. Now, let's say you have 10 years of service and you decide to separate your employment from TRS. And the reality is most of us will switch our jobs at some point in our career. Now, it will be to your benefit if you can switch jobs within the TRS system and therefore continue to accumulate service within TRS. But if you happen to leave and you have 10 years of service, you can still draw a benefit at age 60, so you're guaranteed that lifetime income. And if you happen to come back to a TRS covered employer prior to age 60, then you are eligible to continue to add more service at that time. Or you can withdraw those funds, but you are forfeiting that lifetime income. You can receive a lump sum, but you'll pay taxes and maybe penalties depending on your age. Or you can roll that over into a tax sheltered account such as a 401k, a 403b, or IRA. You won't pay any taxes, so you defer those taxes until you draw the money out of that account. But if you happen to come back to a TRS covered employer after 3 years, you can purchase that service. However, you'll be paying you'll be paying interest that has accumulated upon the time that you withdraw those funds from the system. So here's an example. Sarah began teaching at age 25, and after 17 years, she decided to leave for employment in the private sector. So if she decided to leave her funds that 17 years in, we'll multiply that by 2%. Therefore, she'll have 34% of her high average salary, which is $5,761. At age 60, that would give her $1,959 per month. And she could get increases on that with cost of living adjustments. Or if she withdraws those funds once she leaves and separates her employment from TRS, she can take a lump sum payment of $63,990. But that's before taxes. So she may be subject to federal and state taxes and penalties. And again, there's no lifetime income. If she decides to come back to a TRS covered employer and wants to reestablish that service, she has to pay that amount that she withdrew plus the interest that has accumulated. So something to think about if you are at some point considering leaving your TRS covered employer. Now, the beneficiary information that we use is solely based on what's on file at TRS at the time that you pass. So you want to make sure that you have on file your beneficiaries where you intend any lifetime or lump sum benefit to go to. So if you've just started after about 2 months, you'll be able to register your account at trsga.com. And you want to make sure that you add your beneficiaries. Now, many of us have just gone through open enrollment, and you'll do that once a year. Many times we'll update our beneficiaries during open enrollment, but none of those updates transfer over to your TRS account. So your TRS account is always separate from anything that you do during open enrollment. So you want to make sure at least once a year, just check and verify that the beneficiaries that we have on file is what you intend if you happen to pass while you're working or in your retirement. Now, your TRS benefit is something that you can depend on. You'll know exactly what you're going to get, but there are some things that you want to consider outside of your TRS benefit. Most experts say that you'll need about 80% of your working income in your retirement to sustain the same lifestyle that you have in your retirement. But some say that could be 120% or even more, depending on any issues that may arise. The reality is that a lot of kids come back home after college, so you may be taking care of your kids a lot longer than you think, or there may be health issues that may arise. So just depending on the lifestyle that you want to live in your retirement, you want to make sure that you're prepared for that. So something to ask yourself, a few questions to ask yourself are, what are my financial goals and how will you achieve those? Have you established other retirement and investment accounts, such as a 401k or 403b? Are you managing your monthly expenses to reach those financial goals? So have you set up a budget to make sure that you are not overspending and that you have enough to save and invest? Does your system contribute to Social Security? So this is very important. Some systems do, some don't. Some have retirement plans in lieu of Social Security. Some have incentives for 401k in lieu of Social Security, and some pay in Social Security without those other advantages for retirement plan. So you want to make sure that you know exactly what you have, and you can use a combination of Social Security, TRS, or other retirement accounts. And for those of you that may be depending solely on TRS, will that be enough to meet your financial goals? So for some of us, this may be our second or third career. So you may be just trying to vest from TRS, and you may have other retirement accounts. Or the plan may be to have 30 or 40 years in TRS alone. Would 60%, 60, 66, 80% of your income, would that be enough to retire and live the type of lifestyle that you want to in your retirement? So obviously working longer, getting up to that 80% is beneficial to your retirement benefit. Again, you want to identify how and where you're spending your money, and always save for a rainy day. Short-term and long-term savings are very crucial for your financial planning. Short-term is usually considered less than a year, and long-term savings for more than a year. And you want to consider those additional savings and investment plans. Again, 401ks, 403bs, IRAs. So you definitely want to reach out to your HR department, because they know who your vendors are, and they can get you the information that you need to reach out to those custodians of some of accounts such as TIA CREF, it may be VALIC, AIG, and there's a host of others that can provide you with those type of accounts to supplement your income in your retirement. So we encourage you to visit trsga.com again to create your account and update your beneficiaries. And also you can keep up with events that we do. At some point, we hope to start doing this thing live again and get in front of our membership base, but we do virtual events now. So we have one-on-one sessions and group meetings and longer presentations such as this that we do all the time. This is a video, and other videos that we have are on our YouTube channel. We definitely recommend you to go back and look at this again. It's good to hear this information more than once because it is a lot. And as you go through your career, there may be some changes that you're coming up against where you have to make an important decision. So you want to make sure that you're informed about your TRS benefit. And so that concludes our presentation for today. Again, please follow and like us on our various social media channels. So I'll leave that up for a while for you to scan that. And I just want to read a couple of questions that we may have, and I'll answer some of these for the group. Let's see. So can you purchase service credit at any time, or do you have to be vested? So service purchases, it totally depends on the type of service that you're trying to purchase. So for example, for out of state, you have to have at least 6 years of creditable service, membership service in TRS before you can buy a year of out of state service. And the max on that is 10 years. So for each year after 6, you can buy another year. So that's one example. For withdrawn service, you have to work 3 years before you can buy that service credit, that TRS withdrawn credit back, and you can buy all of that at once. Airtime, you have to have 25 years and in the process of putting in a retirement application. So it totally depends on the type of service. What you want to do is reach out to us. You can use the contact us form on our website, and you can submit an inquiry. We can get back to you, or you can call our call center, and we'll let you know what the process is to establish the type of service that you're interested in. All right, let's see. What's another one let's see. How do I investigate the cost? Okay, the question went away. Somebody's typing a little too fast. All right, another one here is, in the TRS system, the beneficiary section requires 2 beneficiaries. If I enter only 1 beneficiary, the system does not take. How can I submit only 1 beneficiary? All right, so we recommend that you have 2 beneficiaries on file, but you can have 1 beneficiary, which is your primary, and for your secondary, you can just choose your estate. So if you don't know who you want that to be, or you don't have a secondary beneficiary in mind, in that secondary beneficiary section, you can list your estate. So the estate of, my name is Winston Buckley, so I would say the estate of Winston Buckley, and I would just put my information in that secondary portion. All right, and I will do one more. And this question is back, referring back to service purchases. I am returning back to TRS for buying back time. Can you buy back all at once or 1 year at a time? So if that is withdrawn service, TRS withdrawn service, you can buy all of that service back at one time, but you have to wait until you've completed 3 years of working, so membership service at TRS, before you can buy that service back. All right. So thank you again. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know it's a planning day for many of you. This may be your planning period, or you may have just snuck away just for a few minutes just to hear this information. We will have this on our YouTube and Facebook channel, so you can go through and listen to this again, and all the slides are there. And for those of you who left any questions in the chat, we'll try to follow up on Facebook and on WebEx after the presentation. So thank you again, and you all have a nice day.